5 drivers on their way to Abu Dhabi. Alec van der Waal is starting on pole position. Sven Zerner alongside him on the front row. A Dutch and a German on the front row of the grid. Third is Tiziano Brioni in the Force India ahead of Harrison Jacks, who's going to be starting in 4th place. He's going to be in the Mercedes. And then 5th at the moment is Jarl Tien, who is going to be in the Toro Rosso. Then we've got Gianfranco Gioli in the Red Bull car. He's going to be starting in 6th spot. Olli Pakala is going to be in 7th position. I think I said 6th earlier, so my apologies for that. Christoph Holstein is going to be starting in 8th place, the Swiss driver. And then the last two on the grid, Patrick Blazin for Renault and Daniel Forrester in the Haas, completing the 10 drivers, 5 of which at the end of this will go through to the finals in Abu Dhabi. Socks everywhere. Here come all 5 lights, and Van der Waal is on pole position, and away he doesn't go. So we've got a couple of other drivers making their way forward. Finally, Van der Waal does get going from pole position, but a little bit of an unclear start there. And I think we will have a restart. I think we will restart that race because we had a few jump starts in there. We had a few cars not get away. So as a result, we will have a little bit of a wait, and then a couple of drivers dropped out of the game just as the race started. So we will reset the game and get going again. But that sort of false start is always a little bit of an anticlimax, isn't it? This time it's still sunny. Here come all 5 lights. Van der Waal's on pole position, and away they go. And this time it's a much needed getaway, and it's a really good start from Sven Zerner. Sven Zerner in the Sauber, up into the lead at turn 1, swings it up the inside. Van der Waal drops down to 2nd. Harrison Jacks is up into 3rd position. 4th now is Brioni. He's dropped back a place at the start, but what a good start from Sven Zerner to take the lead of the race away. Battles further back is Gigioli in 5th place, Olli Pakala in 6th, Holstein in 7th. As here comes Alec van der Waal down the back straight now under a bit of pressure. One car running out wide. I think that was Harry Jacks now, who's dropping back position after position after position. He's dropped all the way back into 7th position. This is Olli Pakala in the Ferrari. Harry Jacks trying to stay up the inside. Pakala's getting forced wide. That allows Jacks up the inside, but Sven Zerner, Davide, easy for me to say, got a great getaway.
Yeah, you're right, on the inside, from the 2nd position, 1st row, he just started better than the contender, and he took immediately the leadership. Very well done for Sven Zerner, that showed to be the quickest in this first lap.
Alec van der Waal in 2nd place. It's Tiziano Brioni in 3rd spot as it stands. Then 4th is Gigioli. And they come out onto the back straight now. Down the hangar straight, we're on board with Patrick Blazin, who's going to try and make a move here on Jarl Tien. Not quite close enough as they come into Stowe. You can see how much faster these cars are in the dry conditions. When you've watched a 25-minute race in the wet, you get, whoa, there's a lunge from Jarl Tien, lunging it right at the inside of Holstein. And that means Patrick Blazin says, thank you very much, I'll have those 2 places. End of lap 1, Sven Zerner leads. That was some really aggressive driving.
Patrick was smart and clever to try to gain the advantage, using the perfect line and overtook the 2 rivals that they were fighting each other. Really well done for Patrick, that got 2 positions in 1 move.
But it's Sven Zerner, the 18-year-old car salesman from Germany, who is leading the race at the moment. 0.8 of a second ahead of Van der Waal. Here we are further back with Giglioli in 4th position, and then Olli Pakala in 5th in that Ferrari, and right behind is the Mercedes of Matt Gallagher's favourite, Harrison Jacks. Not a good start for your man.
No, it was a great start, in fact, but then he just ran wide. I don't know if he was pushed off the track or what happened there. Hopefully we'll get a replay possibly, but down to 6th at the moment. He needs to get maybe 1 or 2 positions. This will be one of them behind Olli Pakala at the moment, but these guys can push pretty hard on their tyres, and they'll look to go on the soft compound in around 4 or 5 laps.
So we go on board with Harry Jacks as he swings out now through Maggots and Beckett's, and then out all Pakala. The Tashman has run a little bit wide and caught a bit of grass coming out into Chapel. The slipstream here, no DRS yet. The DRS will be activated in a lap or so's time as they come through Stowe. Pakala taking too much speed into the corner, therefore losing speed out of the corner. Jacks thinks about the lunge into Vale, isn't quite close enough to do it. Sven Zerner still only 0.9 of a second ahead of Van der Waal, so a much, much closer race at the moment in terms of the top, well, there's no gap in the top 8 over a second, apart from actually second and third has now gone up to 1.1, but it's much, much closer this time around, Davide.
Yeah, you're right, and you can see clearly how higher is the speed in the middle of the corner. The minimum speed is so much higher when the truck is dry, and now he can have the chance because have a look, he just exit Harrison Jacks really close to Pakala. Maybe he can have the try.
Here's Sven Zerner leading the way in the Sauber, a sentence which isn't said often, as he comes now through the right-hander at Luffield and out onto the start-finish straight again. Van der Waals now just under a second behind as they come out over the old start-finish line up at Kopp's corner and then down into Maggots and Beckett's. Yartien did pit. He's down in 10th place at the moment, having been involved in that collision. He was 8th in the first heat, so dropping back down the order a little, and it doesn't look as though he's going to be on the way to Abu Dhabi. Sven Zerner it is, leading the way though in the Sauber with the McLaren of Van der Waal, who started on pole position right behind him. Here comes Harry Jacks, he's got the DRS now to try and attack the Ferrari in front. Olli Pakala covers the inside line. Jacks jinks to the outside, late on the brakes at Stowe. That's a bold move, and that hasn't quite come off. Pushed wide off the circuit, and that allows Blashan the chance to attack. Blashan's gone straight into the pits. So Patrick Blashan there going into the pits, which is an interesting manoeuvre at this stage in the race. But lap 4 of 13, Zerner leads, Van der Waal second, Brioni third, Giglioli in fourth, and then this battle between Olli Pakala in that Ferrari in fifth and Harrison Jacks in sixth spot in this Mercedes. That was a bold attempt, Matt.
Oh, it was close. I thought the Renault was going to be going around the outside and he went straight into the pits. Someone to keep an eye on, 7, Christoph. He started on the soft tyres, so that might be something that happens towards the end of the race where he'll be quicker on the super softs. Everyone else will be on the more durable, slower, soft yellow compound tyres, whereas he will go on to those red marked super softs. And well, Sven Zerner looking very comfortable out in front, but still Alan in that DRS range. Will they fight?
This is Giglioli, who is running in 4th position, quite close to the back of Brioni. But once again, there's no point having an accident. But the same is not true of Harry Jacks. He is desperate to try and get past. A little chink to the inside into Kopp's corner, but barely a braking zone. Kopp's maybe down a gear, but it's pretty much close to being flat out. We go on board with Olli Pakala as he comes out now.
Oh, Pakala is wide.
Very, very wide. This has got to be it. This has got to be it for Harrison Jacks. He's going to pull alongside. He gets the DRS as well. And that now is going to be 5th place for Harry Jacks, unless Pakala can do something crazy coming into Stowe. But he can't.
Did you saw it? There was just a little mistake. Went wide at the last of the Beckett's, and immediately Jacks he could get the position. So extremely important to avoid the mistake, because it can cost you position and maybe the race.
And that move will get him to Abu Dhabi at this stage. So that is a huge move on Olli Pakala. Can he start now closing down Gianfranco in 4th position? We'll have to wait and see.
This is the squabble for 3rd position. The 4th place Red Bull at the moment is Gianfranco Giglioli, and he is right up behind Tiziano Brioni as they accelerate out through the left-hander. We're on board with the Red Bull, who gets the DRS, opens up that flap in the rear wing that reduces the hole in the air that the car punches, giving him a little bit more straight line speed. He's right on the back of Brioni now, isn't he, as they swing through the right-hander. Brioni, the 20-year-old from Rome, is up in front. Been playing racing games since he was 3, and his target here this weekend is to be the best Italian. Well, if he finishes in front of this Italian we're on board with, then he's made the best start to that.
Yeah, you're right.
He'll never be the best Italian with Davide here.
The top 2, they are pulling away with Van der Waal, that is second, and he just set the quickest lap time of the race. So it means that maybe he can have the chance.
And Daniel Forrester, I think, has just retired from the race. He was in 7th position, but it looks as though the race is over for Daniel Forrester. Just looking up, and yeah, he's taken his headphones off.
Oh, look!
So the game's over and off.
Crash.
Yeah, so there it is. And front left wheel missing. And that is the end of the day for Daniel Forrester. Sorry. But into the pits now comes Brioni and Giglioli, both from 3rd and 4th spots. So that means Pakala moves up into 4th. Harrison Jacks has come into the pits as well. So Pakala staying out an extra lap here, Matt.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. He's clearly seen all of them dive into the pits, and he's thought, right, let's do something a little bit different. Maybe they'll hold each other up on this outlap. That's the only way he's going to potentially get back in the fight of this. Ollie doesn't seem like he's got the pace that he'll need to get into that top 5.
Sven Zerner still leading the way and yet to pit. Alec van der Waal in 2nd place and yet to pit. Pakala in third and yet to pit, but then we've got Brioni, Giglioli, and then Jax all coming out of the pits. 1, 2, 3. This meanwhile is Alec van der Waal. He's still just tracking Sven Zerner, just tracking him.
You're right, he's there, but he cannot get closer. When you get closer, your driving style is in more difficulty because you don't have free air, you have dirty air, you lose a bit of downforce. Most of it here in the downforce where you need. In the first corner, you lose a bit of grip and sometimes you need to correct with the steering wheel. It's not so easy to get close where there is high-speed corner.
Lap 6 of 13. Here comes Sven Zerner, about to start lap 7 of 13 in a couple of moments' time. This is up through Kopp's corner though, Harry Jack. So what's going on here? He is behind Patrick Blachand. So Patrick Blachand's got involved in this fight now and is in front of Harry Jacks in that Renault. So he's done a good... He came into the pits early.
Undercut, yep.
And has used the undercut where he's got fresher tyres and has been able to go quicker than the cars around him and has now jumped up into that 6th spot. But will he struggle with his tyres come the end of the race?
Yeah, definitely. He will, towards sort of lap 12, lap 13, he'll have probably 3-4 tenths slower of lap times if you're on equal performance, and Harry should be able to potentially make a move, but at the same time he's got DRS as well. It's like a train of DRS going on at the moment, all the way to 4th.
And let's see where Olli Pakala comes out, because he's just pitted in the Ferrari. Here comes the McLaren meanwhile of Alec van der Waal out of the pit, so he holds on to that second position. Sven Zerner still yet to make a pit, but who is going to be behind? I think Pakala has lost out. Yes, he's dropped way down to 8th position, so not the greatest strategy potentially from Olli Pakala, because he is now right at the back of this queue, whereas he was up in 5th spot. It's now Patrick Blachand in 5th in the Renault, behind Gioli in 4th, but for how much longer? Here comes Harry Jacks, not quite close enough coming into Brooklands.
Extremely important for Van der Waal that he decided to pit 1 lap earlier than Sven Zerner, and extremely important this lap, because if he can perform at maximum of his capacity, he can get the leadership of this race.
On board with Harry Jacks, swinging through the fast right-hander of Kops, and then in towards Maggots and Beckett's. This is on board with Christoph Holstein further back. Haven't seen much of Holstein in the Williams, but he's getting himself involved in the fight. Down a few gears, he's got a really good run out through Chapel. He's going to be alongside Harry Jacks before he even opens the DRS now. Heading down the back straight, he's on the super soft tyres, so as Matt mentioned earlier on, he started on the softs and he's going trying to go around the outside and Stowe! Magnificent stuff, he can't quite pull it off. Harry Jacks just pushing him off the road a little.
Yeah, did you saw Jacks? He just opened the line, he just get there to kiss the curb and forcing the rival out of the line. From my point of view, he's fine, but he's extreme.
Yeah, absolutely. That 8 of 13, we go on board with Harry Jacks, who's holding on to that 6th spot at the moment. Gets onto the brakes. Still, Christoph Holstein putting the pressure on in the Williams. He's going to go super. So this is all a fantastic queue, all behind Tiziano Brioni, who's running in 3rd spot. This, meanwhile, is Giglioli, who's in 4th, trying to close on the Force India in front. There's a little look up the inside from the Williams, but again, not close enough.
Wonderful the work of Sven Zerner, that is leading the race with super soft, and he didn't stop yet. So he's forcing the run with the super soft and seems to not have any degradation on tires.
Here comes Holstein looking up the inside into Kopp's corner. Not traditionally an overtaking opportunity, and it still isn't. Still isn't, Christoph. Very close though. Brave, give him that, brave.
Was brave, but there was no space there, and he had to back off.
Now he tries to... Oh, and now he's just kissing the grass on the exit of Chapel, down onto the hanger straight. Sven Zerner still yet to make a pit stop. Lap 9 of 13. He's pulling away fractionally from Alec van der Waal, isn't he? You're right, it's staying at about 28 seconds for the entirety of the race so far. Not used, Matt, to seeing drivers go this deep into the race.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sven and Christoph have both made a really, it seems like, good decision at this point in the race to go long on the super soft. So Christoph pitted really early from the soft compound tyres, put on the faster compound, and at the moment it still seems to be within the window, and Sven is showing that it lasts 9 laps. So they could have pulled a trick out their cards. I don't know, whatever. I am mystified by their strategy right now. Yeah, whatever the...
I don't need to know where they pulled it out of. Lap 9 of 13, Sven Zerner still leading the way. Alec van der Waal in 2nd place, but Zerner is the one man yet to make a pit stop. Brioni in third. Look how close it is up in front, though. We're on board with Christoph Holstein, who is running in 7th place at the moment. The 22-year-old Swiss driver in the Williams, trying to make his way up the order, but that's not going to help. Out in the gravel.
In the gravel was just too wide, and he lost the cars with big understeer in middle of the corner, and he just lost. Look at it, how much meters he lost to the rivals.
Sven Zerner in the pits. The race leader is in the pits now then, so we will see, will he emerge in front or behind of Alec van der Waal? When van der Waal made his pit stop, there was what, 7-8 tenths of a second between them, so it's definitely going to be tight between the race leader and second place. Meanwhile, we got Harry Jacks watching on. Into the pits comes Sven Zerner then. The team get to work, and out of the pit lane he goes. We're on board meanwhile with everyone by the looks of it as we get onto the brakes down into Vale. This is Patrick Blashan running in 5th spot.
It's crucial for him, because he finished 9th in the previous race, so it's crucial for Patrick Blashan.
Here comes the Sauber, and Alec van der Waal is in the lead. Alec van der Waal is in the lead by a second. There's the McLaren over Sven Zerner, but Sven Zerner's tyres are so new, and they are going to give him a lot more grip than van der Waal potentially in these next few laps. So this is the second place man, van der Waal, lap 10 of 13. So we have only got 4 to go, including the one they're on now, onto the brakes into Brooklyn. So Zerner, he's given up track position to have better tyres.
I don't know, not wonderful idea maybe, because he just risked to lose the car there. Not wonderful idea, because you're going to lose the first lap because your tires are cold. And look at it, he's already 1.4 seconds behind the leader. And then you have the advantage of the tires, but only for 2 laps. And then most of it, you have to overtake your rival. That is not easy at all in the track.
So Sven Zerner in second place, Brioni in third, Giglioli running in fourth, Blashan in fifth, Harrison Jacks in sixth, still ahead of Christoph Holstein in seventh. Then it's Pakala and Tiernan, and Harry Jacks is going through, is he? Yes! Harry Jacks up into fifth place in the Mercedes. He's got past the Renault driver, and Matt Gallagher, does that mean that's a place in Abu Dhabi or not quite?
It looks like it, looks like it. Obviously we'll have adjudication after this, but he's put in a very good stint at the moment in 5th position, and very interesting to see how quick those new soft compound tyres can be for Sven.
He's 1.5 seconds back now, so at the moment he hasn't got the pace, Sven Zerner. He still should be going to Abu Dhabi depending on adjudication, because he had finished second in the first race, second in the second race. That should be enough. We're on board with Christoph Holstein, who has tried to roll the dice, having started down in 8th place on the grid. He's on the super soft tyre. He's set the fastest lap of the race, but at the moment he's not able to make any manoeuvres. Here we go, on board with him in 7th place, chasing down the Renault of Patrick Blashan in front, onto the brakes into Brooklands. Lap after lap, they've all been queued up behind Tiziano Brioni. He's holding up all these drivers. It's like Gilles Villeneuve at Harama all those years ago. That's an obscure one, isn't it?
You're right, and it's strange the condition now, because Christoph Olsen, that is 7th, seems to be the quickest of this group. So between the third and the 7th, there are only 1.5 seconds. Incredible the situation now.
On board we go with Harry Jacks running in 5th place. He's got Giglioli up in front. Back on the power. Reasonable run. He's going to get the DRS here. Swings it open. But Giglioli in front has it as well, as he tries to get past Brioni. Brioni covers the inside line just a little. Just puts his car in the middle of the road. Lap 11 of 13.
Oh! He just went wide.
Brioni in 3rd spot. Still leading the way is Alec van der Waal as they come now onto the penultimate lap of this race, and it is all nose to tail. How many more overtaking opportunities are they going to get? Still no movement from Christoph Holstein. He still hasn't been able to make his way up the order despite being on those super soft tyres. That's very late into the corner for Brioni. Giglioli thinks about the inside line, but you don't want to have a collision on this last lap. We saw what it did in the first heat to Max Beneke, and you don't want to end up in that position again. Down to Brooklands they go.
There was the space, then Tiziano Brioni is covering all the line, because have a look, he's always a bit wide in entry, but then close the door mid-corner to have a wonderful exit and to don't be attacked on the main straight. not bad the strategy of Tiziano Brioni to maintain the podium position.
Here they come into Kopp's corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. Incredible stuff. So close together. 5 as well, with Christoph Holstein at the back. Harry Jacks is the man who is closest to anyone at the moment as they come through Maggots and Beckett's out onto the hanger straight. Oh, both of them a little bit wide. Giglioli through the grass, and here comes the attack from Patrick Blashan in the yellow Renault. He's trying to get the inside line, and Jax just closes the door and doesn't let him through. That's some extreme defending there, and he's still trying to get the overlap and isn't quite able to do so. Alec van der Waal, meanwhile, is still leading the way, going on to the final lap. They're all locking up down into Vale. I can't believe we haven't had any overtakes. Everybody's still in the same order.
Yeah, it's not so easy. It's not easy at all to jump the position at the moment, because it seems that they are really close every time in break, but then in exit they take the gap that take away to them the chance of overtaking. It's not so easy to stay close to the rival in the exit of the corner.
Forget a Trulli train. This is a Brioni bus we've got going on here. Oh yeah, give me a yeah. There we go. Cheers.
Round of applause from our audience.
He is doing a fantastic job holding third position. This track has a double DRS detection point, meaning that these drivers are going to be quicker in a straight line out of two of the corners on the straights, and he's still ahead. How is his Force India still sitting in third?
Oh, will he still be though come the end of this lap? We're on the final tour. Alec van der Waal is leading the way, Sven Zerner behind, but look at them getting so close as they come into Kops. Brioni a little bit wide. Harry Jacks is getting involved as well, still in that Mercedes. Patrick Blashan's dropped back a little bit now in that Renault, so it's these three in the battle for third place. Harry Jacks is neat and tidy, but it's going to be Giglioli on the back of Brioni. He moves to the outside line in the Red Bull. They go side by side, coming down into Stowe. He's got the DRS as well. Can he go all the way around the outside? Yes! Gianfranco Giglioli goes around the outside and up into third position. Brioni is still there, trying to fight back. Here comes Alec van der Waal, though, to win the race. And Sven Zerner across the line in second. And it is going to be Giglioli who comes across the line in third place. Who's in fourth? It's just the Force India of Brioni, just in front of Harry Jacks. Sixth place for Patrick Blashan. But what a race for Alec van der Waal. And he is very much out of breath. Sven Zerner there finishing in second spot. A really good performance from him. A little bit warm by the looks of things. A little handshake between he and van der Waal. Nice little camaraderie there.